Hi everybody, Brian Bush, Top Crop Alliance. It's trial planting season. So as some of you probably know, we're a glutton for punishment. We like doing trials and coordinating efforts and all that. We've worked with guys across the years, and one thing is I really focus on, I like to find one common protocol we can get behind. So that way we can kind of combine data together and learn more as we combine different planting dates, different weather patterns to try and find the details out of that. So we're kind of expanding that group we've done that with in the past, and we're calling it the top crop protocols. Two protocols, one for corn, one for soybeans. But what you need to know right up front is we are very big on privacy. We're not going to share your farm, your field, your results with everybody out there. We will anonymize the data, give you a unique code that is unique to your operation, your fields, so that way your neighbor doesn't know what your field yielded, how your crops are doing there. But by working together, by sharing data together, we can start to identify some of those nuggets, be it planting date, be it product, be it rainfall, maybe it's organic matter in the soil, that really helps these different products and practices maximize our yield potential. I'm about a couple things with these trials. Number one, large scale trials. I'd love to have 60, 70, 80 fields that we can kind of pull together the data and analyze it and find those nuggets to help us all be smarter. Number two trials, simplicity. We're not trying to add lots of complex things to this. I think these are things that most everybody could adopt, they can practice and try with success this year. Number three, while we want to maximize our yields, we're more focused on maximizing ROI, your return on your investment. It does us no good to push yields out the top if it costs us too much. So if you made it this far, thank you. Feel free to reach out to anybody on the top crop team if you have questions. Myself, Rick, Barron, Spencer, Andrew, we'd be happy to answer questions about these trials as we go through here if you have any questions. So let's dig in. First, our soybean trial. Soybeans need sulfur early in the season. Sean Castillo, Purdue, for years has done trials and said, hey, you need sulfur, you need sulfur. It finally clicked with me when he shared some data this past winter. We'll get into that in just a second here, but the trial is apply 125 pounds of pelletized gypsum around planting, ideally within a week or so of planting. Doesn't have to be the day of, but close there. The sulfur is needed early. This is the reason why. In the past, Dr. Castillo's always had data on May versus June. This has been good, but this year he had April. UTC, untreated check. So the untreated check made 77.5 bushels, which not many people are going to complain about. But where you added 20 pounds of sulfur with these products, there's over a 20 bushel response. That's the kind of economics I can get behind. But if you waited and planted in May, as the soil's warmed up, still a good effect, but not quite as good there. If you waited until June, there's basically no difference there. So it's early planted soybeans. Sulfur is a cofactor inside those nodules in the soybeans that helps produce nitrogen, gets those plants up and running and taking off. I've done testing on this before, but we've never focused on early planted soybeans. So that's kind of the ticket for me. If you're planting soybeans in April, maybe this trial fits right up your alley. So, high yielding soybeans, more sulfur. In particular, there's two products we're focusing on. It's pelletized gypsum. The products are right here, Sulfur Plus and Nutrisoft DG. We've talked to local retailers. They have these products available if you call and talk to them. The protocol is pretty simple. Go out and spread blocks, 200, 300 feet wide, one or two per field on your early planted fields, where we think we're going to have not only high yield potential, but a chance to plant early. We can do that. Then you'll share your as applied data, that spread map, share the as planted data and the harvest data with us, the top crop team. We'll analyze all that and then return the results this fall to everybody to see where this is working. Is it a certain soil type, certain planting date, weather patterns, other products you're putting on as well that maybe help maximize this return. If there's 20 bushels to be had, we're all on board for that. I know you are. So that's our soybean trial. Pretty simple. Spread a block of pelletized sulfur before planting, then treat it just like normal. Share the data with us, we'll analyze it. Next is the corn trial. So, pretty simple. High yield corn needs more nitrogen. So our goal here on your highest yielding fields, the darkest, blackest, where you expect to have the highest yield potential, our trial is apply 20% more nitrogen in check strips on that part of the field. So I'd love to see, take your highest yielding field, add 1, 3, 4 different strips of higher nitrogen rates. Share that with us and we'll analyze it. Here is why. This chart's been floating around for a bit, but here's the key takeaway. We often talk about, how many pounds of nitrogen per bushel does it take to produce corn? In many cases, you'll hear guys talk about 0.9 pounds of nitrogen, 1 pound of nitrogen per 1 bushel of yield. As we look to higher and higher yield potential, 271 bushel corn needed 1.16 pounds of nitrogen. 299 bushel corn needed 1.34 pounds of nitrogen per bushel. These bushels cost more to produce. It takes more nitrogen at higher yield levels than it takes at lower yield levels. But in your best yielding soils, best fields, is a lack of nitrogen holding back your yield potential. This was an important chart, but also where we help manage nitrogen for customers, the same trends show up in our yield data this year. So we kind of pulled together some of the data for the customers we do nitrogen management for. We have 6 soil classifications, from low to bad ash, or best of the best soils. So we have yield targets from 162 to 280. When you look at those, this is the yields we were able to obtain at those soil types. So again, a little bit short here, but even at 267 bushels of corn, our nitrogen recommendation was 282 pounds of nitrogen, which, if you look at that nitrogen use efficiency, or pounds of nitrogen per bushel of yield, that's only 1.08. Did we not hit these yield targets, these and greater, because we didn't put on enough nitrogen to get that? So that's kind of the goal. I think it's fairly simple, take your best part of the field. When you get to those high yield parts of the field, reach over your monitor, bump up your script accordingly, about 20%, make that pass. When you get done, share those as applied files back with us. If you've got questions on any of that, reach out to the team. We're happy to help you figure out how to export that data, get it to us here. But the overall goal is we want to help you analyze that so we can learn together what situations help us not only achieve this, if not exceed these high yield levels. I know corn prices are lower. One of the best ways to overcome this is to produce more bushels. So hope that helps. I guess one more slide here. Here's the summary slide on it. Here's the trial protocol. Again, our goal is how can we learn together? We will anonymize the data so none of your neighbors will know your fields, your specific yields, unless you decide to share them with them. But we can work together, learn together, try and find the best practices to maximize our corn yields and our soybean yields. Love to have you participate with us. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're excited for this year, 2024. It's going to be a good one. Hope to have you involved. Thank you.